I'm part of this initiative run by alumnus called Ask IITM. And what we actually do here is, apart from this, we have two professors also with us who can actually answer any questions that you might have. So firstly, I'd like to introduce Professor Mahesh V. Panchagnula. He is a professor in the Department of Applied Mechanics. He also runs a podcast, which we'll talk about actually towards the end. So yeah, Professor Mahesh, please. He was also the former dean of alumni and corporate relations at IIT Madras. So next, I'd like to introduce Professor Varadan. He's also a professor in the Department of Applied Mechanics, and I'd like to thank them personally for taking the time out and being here today, because it's a lot of effort on your part to come here and talk to all the students. So thank you for that. Yeah. So what do you expect from IIT Madras, right? So firstly, you experience a lot of things, academics, friendships, careers. You build friends, you lose friends. And then at the end of the day, you get access to this vibrant community of alumni and, support system of sorts to pursue any future endeavors that you might have. So one thing that we like to say is that every student is unique, right? And IIT Madras actually helps you explore and figure out what you want to do in that journey that you're taking. All of you are now 17, 18 years old, right? Don't really have a lot of ideas on what you want to do once you're done with your 12th standard. And believe me, I was there. I know how difficult it was to make a choice, and I think that's also one of the reasons that I do this. So one of the things we like to talk about a lot, which you'll see in this presentation, is that IIT Madras is actually the best place to build. And by build, you can build anything. You can build skill sets, you can build a project, you can build a product, you can build a startup, you can build friendships, you can build a network, and there's endless amount of possibilities that are possible at IIT. So one thing is that we've been NIRF 1, that NIRF is the National Institute's ranking framework, and we've been NIRF 1 for 9 years in a row, and 9 years in a row as the best engineering institute in India. So there are a lot of parameters in the NIRF ranking system. I don't want to get into everyone. Basically there are 4 metrics, and you have to you are graded on each of these 4 metrics, and IIT Madras has always been the highest ever since I studied there actually. So I think this is the first questions that parents will ask. Academics, what is a course, what is a degree, how does all of this work? So I'll give you a broad summary. And for students, I think, and for parents actually, this is the first time you guys will make your own choices when you come to an IIT, right? Every student has a unique path, and everyone has a lot of freedom in IIT, right? You choose your own courses, you choose your own path, you can specialize, you can just explore a lot of things. Everything is on you. So with that freedom, there is a lot of power that is given to you guys as students. And with that power, I would personally say that there is a sense of responsibility that you must exercise when you're choosing your courses and you're choosing your curriculum. So one thing that we have is we have a credit system. How many of you have already seen this slide? Okay, great. So it's a lot of work. So if you look at this, yeah, great. Everyone can see the pointer, right? People in the last rows? Okay, cool. So if you look at this, the category is basically your department, like this is aerospace, this is biological engineering, chemical, and so on. And there are credits. So now a credit typically refers to the amount of effort you have to put in a course. And if one credit corresponds to 1 hour of work you have to do every week. Okay, and typically a semester, so you have 8 or 10 semesters based on a BTech or a dual degree that you take. So every semester is 12 weeks or 14 weeks, 12 to 14 weeks. I think the odd semesters are shorter. And every semester you have to do around 45 to 60 credits, okay? which means that you have to work 60 hours every week. Okay, and now for example, a course can be 9 or 10 credits, and you have a degree. So I studied chemical engineering, so I'm going to use this example. My BTech was in chemical engineering, and in my first semester, I had courses. And every semester I have courses, and I have every course has a certain number of credits. So now in my first semester, I had a math course called Functions of Several Variables. It was a 10 credit course, which means that I have to work 10 hours in that course every week. And the way this is done is there are three classes that happen every week, and there is one tutorial session. So that's 4 hours of work that the professors are involved in. You have to attend the class, and then the rest 6 hours, it's on you to actually study. This is what is recommended and prescribed by the professors, but it's actually on you to study. Right? Nobody forces you to study. You don't have your parents with you. You don't have your coaching institute teachers with you to actually help you out, or like to force you to study, let me put it that way. Right? So that's one thing. And so to be awarded a degree, you have to complete 26, okay, for example, the applied mechanics and biomedical engineering department, because we have representation from there also. You have to do 26 credits in engineering, 12 in computing, 195 in professional, 27 in humanities, and so on. So now broadly, engineering courses are the basic engineering courses that you have. They could be like thermodynamics. They could be basically the very fundamental engineering courses that you do in your first year, or sometimes even in your third semester in the second year. So those come under engineering. And then science courses are very simply put math, physics, chemistry. So these also you will have to do across, in majority of them will be done in your first year, and there'll be a few courses along the way. Computing courses are a little bit of coding and little bit of computational courses that you do, like computational techniques, I think is a computing course that we study in chemical engineering. Professional courses are courses from your department. So if I'm doing 195 credits from applied mechanics and biomedical engineering, I will do that many courses, and 195 will correspond to about 19 or 20 courses, maybe 21 courses. And you do these 21 courses across 8 semesters. It's not like you're doing everything in your first semester. And then humanities are, you study things like ethics, you can study astronomy, you can study a language, you can do German, French, Korean, Chinese, Japanese. And then general are courses that don't really fall into any bucket as such. You can't really put them anywhere. That's why they're called a general course. For example, I did a course called Happiness, Habits, and Success. So that's a general course which teaches me how to structure my habits and discipline myself in order to have success and also be happy, right? And there was also a self-discovery course which taught me about, it's a more of a philosophy course where you learn about yourself, and then you explore where you are in a pyramid of needs, and then you move up that pyramid, so to speak. And then there is management courses, which are your MBA courses from the Department of Management Studies. These could be like operations research or game theory, things like that, right? And then there are unallotted credits, are any course from any department that you can take yourself, right? Now, if you look at it, a lot of these unallotted credits is completely free. You can choose whichever course you want to do. Even in general, I think you can choose one course. So science also, you can choose some electives. So roughly we have about 40% of courses that you can choose yourself. Some percentage of this is restricted to your branch, and a large percentage of it is outside your branch. For example, in chemical engineering, these 124 plus 54, this 54 credits that will roughly be around, every course is 9 or 10 credits, let me put it that way, most courses. So effectively, if you divide it 400 by 8, you have to do 50 courses, a little more maybe, 53, 54 courses. And there are some courses which are compulsory, but they don't have grades, but they're mandated, like for example, ecology, and there's life skills. All of these things you have to do in your first year, and you just have to pass in those courses. They don't really have a grade as such. So if you look at it, the curriculum is very flexible, and you can take a lot of courses outside your department, and more importantly, even inside your department, you have a lot of choice in the courses that you can take. I did a process optimization course, I did a systems engineering course, I did a renewable energy course, and I think I had 4 or 5 electives that I had done. So this is broadly electives. You don't have to look at the numbers as such, but just understand that over a period of time, these many courses, if you divide it by 9 or 10, how many ever come? That many courses in each category is what you should do to be awarded that degree. Okay? And when it comes to electives, right, you can actually do this thing where you can, for example, let me put it this way, right? I'm talking to some people who know that they want to become an electrical engineer and they want to get into semiconductors and they want to become an architect in some semiconductor company. In fact, I had a conversation like that today morning itself. So for that person, it's very clear that if he becomes an electrical engineer, he can do a lot of VLSI courses, and then he can specialize in VLSI as he goes through his journey of 4 years. But some people don't know what they want to do, right? And all of us were 18 years old at some point without an idea of what really we wanted to do in our lives. And for those people, for the ones who, not for the ones, I think the lucky ones actually figure out what they want to do quite soon in their life. For the others, you can explore, you can see what you want to do. You can do courses in programming, you can do courses in management studies, you can do courses in humanities. So you don't really have to specialize. You can just, I would say, generalize courses across your 4 years, right? And what we call put piece. You can also take electives to put piece. Like there are some electives that are easier than the others. So some people just take those courses and just, relax. And typically it's done because the student has other things in their semester that's, not allowing them to actually focus. So they choose to have a little bit of relaxed time. I think, for example, in my 6th semester, I had only like 45 credits. Simply because there was like COVID going on. I got COVID once, my full family got COVID again. I got COVID again after that. So I was just not able to focus. So I reduced the number of credits I wanted to do that semester, and I covered for it later. So when we talk about these 54 unallotted credits, there is no recommended semester that you have to do it in. So if you have been through the curriculum on the IIT Madras website, you will see that the total sum of credits is not including the unallotted credits. So you can actually do these unallotted credits as and when you want. So for example, I did some of my unallotted credits at the beginning, so I didn't have to do a lot of them later. In my final sem, I had only 1 course. So that's also something you can do. And one thing is people ask for a minor. For those of you who don't know what a minor is, it is a degree that is awarded to you in addition to your major degree. So for example, you can get a BTech in aerospace engineering with a minor in economics. So the way to do this is there are a certain list of minors that are approved by the institute. And what you can do is you can just pick out 4 courses from that list, and you do those 4 courses, and you get a minor in that. You get a minor in that field. So minors can be in economics. I think there's a minor in artificial intelligence. I think there is a process engineering minor in chemical engineering, for example. There's a lot of minors that you can do, and a lot of people choose to do it. And sometimes people just end up doing a minor because they're like, oh, I have done these 3 courses, I just need to do 1 more course, and then I'll get an extra degree. It's not really an extra degree, it's more of a statement saying that you have done these 4 courses. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't help. So that's also a factor of many things, engineering and everything. This is well discussed about in a lot of places, including the Ask IITM website actually. We have a list of articles and a list of things that you can actually read about IIT Madras in specific. And now there's something called a dual degree and there's something called an IIID. So both of them essentially are the same thing. In your 5th semester, you get a choice to convert to an MTech if your CGPA is above a certain prescribed limit, threshold. So there are multiple what you can do is you can convert to an MTech in your parent branch or parent department, let's call it. For example, if you do chemical engineering, you can do a MTech in chemical engineering as well. If you are in electrical engineering, you can do a MTech in electrical engineering, but I think they have specializations you can choose from. So does mechanical. And sometimes what you can do is you can convert to an IIID. An IIID is an interdisciplinary dual degree. So it basically means that the degree that you're going to do is not relevant to your parent department. So it could be data science. So for example, I could be a BTech in chemical engineering and have a MTech in data science, or I can have it in electrical vehicles, I can have it in cyber physical systems, I can have it in quantitative finance, I can even do a tech MBA. So you get a BTech and an MBA when you graduate in 5 years. So that's what happens. So when you choose to do this IIID, what ends up happening is some of these unallotted credits will end up, you'll have to pick IIID courses out of them instead of picking your main courses. And you'll end up staying 1 more year. So when you end up staying 1 more year, you will have to do more credits. So I think you do about 100 or so extra credits if you want the MTech degree. So in that there is a project which is around 70 to 85 credits based on the department you're from. And that project actually spans 1 year. You do 1 year of research semester by semester. And then you also take 4 courses, and that's how you get your IIID or dual degree. A common question is that if I'm already a dual degree student, can I convert to an IIID? And the answer is yes. You can convert to an IIID if you're a student of any department, provided you have that CGPA requirement that they're asking for, right? And what this ends up doing is, some people say that I want to study this, I want to study that. So it effectively allows you to move beyond what you have chosen when you're in your first year or before you enter IIT, for that matter, right? And this is very important because a lot of us don't really know what we want to do, and then we end up taking something, and then this actually, if you put in the efforts in those first 4 or 5 semesters, this gives you a chance to change, right? And this is some curriculum updates that we had last year. So we refreshed the curriculum, and one thing is that only 400 credits are now needed, roughly around 400 credits to complete your BTech. And I think in my time it was around 440-ish based on the department. So that number has drastically come down, not drastically, 10%. So that, and then there's a longer summer break, 2 weeks more than earlier. I don't really think this is a big improvement because I think there was already 10 weeks of vacation and now it's become 12, right? And I think there's a mandatory course on entrepreneurship in your second year. There's a course on life skills. There's a course on recreation. All of this has come in the new curriculum. Recreation, you have to probably pick up an art or a sport or some sort of hobby and actually do it for that first year, right? And the reason this is done is everyone has a phone, everyone has access to internet now, so people just end up sitting in their rooms, not talking to anyone for that first year, right? And we want to bring everyone out, get them to socialize, meet new people, meet new friends. And that's one reason we've set this up. And another thing is you can do projects and convert them into credits. I'll talk about this a little bit more later. So for one thing is that you can do C5 projects, Center for Innovation. I'll talk about that as well later. So you do that and then you can convert that to credits. So because of all the things that I mentioned in the previous slide and the academic flexibility that we have because of all these revisions and everything that's happened and the fact that you can upgrade to a dual degree, one thing that we have done is there is no branch change. We really don't see it as real thing. And even when branch change was an option, even only 10% of people could actually change their branch as per the rule, right? So if you're 70 students, only 7 people move up, and it creates a lot of unnecessary, competition, and the fact that you don't really know what it is that you'll end up doing by the end of your 4th year, right? For example, I work in deep tech marketing. No one could have predicted that I will end up in this field after my engineering, right? There is no realistic path that anyone could have taken to predict that, oh yes, Nikhil, you will go become a marketing consultant for deep tech startups after you graduate. So it's just something that's happened over time to me, and there's a lot of people like me that you will find in amongst the alumnus of our institute. And I think some of you have seen that, because if you've read that a lot of IITs have dropped branch change because of stress. And I'd like to insist that yes, there is some amount of stress that students undergo in their first year, but it's not academic stress, right? It's also a stress for the parents. For most of you, your children are going away to a different city for the first time in your life, and you have to live away from them. So amongst parents also, that creates a certain sense of uncertainty. You don't know where your children are. You don't know what they're doing at all times. When they were at home, you knew they'll be in school, or they'll be like at home, or they'll be with their friends. Now you don't know. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're sleeping at or waking up at 6 a.m. or like waking up at 10 a.m. You have no idea. So all of those things, in fact, when people say first year is stressful, I always say that it's more stressful for the parents than the students itself. For students also, it's a lot of stress. You have to move away from a city that you have lived for a lot of time, make new friends, adjust to a new lifestyle where you don't have your parents to do things for you. You have to do your own laundry, clean your own room. All of those things are intimidating. I saw someone who was surprised when I said clean your own room. So don't worry. I mean, you have to clean it. Nobody is forcing you. So that is entirely up to you. So I think that is one of the reasons that give you stress, that you have to adapt to a new environment, right? It's the same stress that a lot of you as parents might have felt when you migrated to a new city to when you had a new job, or when you moved to college. So that is the kind of thing that you will face, and you will have to be prepared for it, once your 12 standards, once your board exams and all your results are out. So I think I've spoken a lot about this, and one more thing that's there is a free semester. So a free semester actually refers to the fact that you can actually end up not doing any courses in your 6th semester and keep it free. So what that allows you to do is, your 6th semester is somewhere Jan to May, and you have your holidays from December. So from December, Jan to May, you don't have classes, and then May onwards, you have a summer vacation again. So May, June, July. So December to July, you are off entirely. And the idea behind this is that we want to send students to do internships at corporates, or at research institutes, or at startups, wherever they want to go. If they want to go abroad and do something, that is also possible in these 9 months, right? So that is something that we have started. And broadly, a little bit about semester exchange is that a lot of students from IIT go for a semester exchange. It's facilitated by us, and we have agreements with a lot of foreign universities so that you can go do your semester exchange there. Pay your standard IIT Madras tuition fee to IIT itself, but you go to a foreign country, and you might have to spend some money on your day-to-day life over there for those 5-6 months. And this is something a lot of students take because it actually helps them gain a new perspective. Like, I had to live in Chennai for 5 years, and that taught me a lot of new things, right? Similarly, people go to Europe, go to the US, learn a lot of new things, and come back. And it's a very interesting aspect of their lives. I really wanted to go on a SEMEX, but COVID, so there was like 2 years gone, and then I came back to college, and I was like, I just want to be in my college and not go anywhere else. So that's something that happened. Apart from this, as of now, I think a lot of parents will have questions about the kind of interns and the kind of opportunities students have done in the past in these 9 months. But it's the first time this has started last year. So by the time these students are in their 3rd year, that is when you'll be able to see the impact of this. So it'll take 2 more years for that to happen. So as of now, we don't really have any information about what will happen in the future. But there is a placement team, and there are already research programs set up that can take these students for a longer duration. In fact, one of the biggest complaints that a lot of companies and universities and students had is that they don't have enough time for students to do an intern in their company. So it's very hard to gauge their progress and give them a placement opportunity after they graduate. So yeah, one of the things, right, I spoke about these general courses. So there is a course on, broadly these courses cover your life skills, basically how to deal and navigate with a lot of aspects in your life, how to deal with, how to be in a state of wellness, and how to navigate challenges and manage changes and new chapters in your life. And all of the students are actually in a stage where they are growing in that time. So there's a lot of challenges, there are a lot of squabbles. When you're 25, you're like, oh, I fought with this person for this small thing and I'm still not talking to them, and it was like pretty stupid. So these things don't really matter in the long run, but when you're there in that moment, you are so worried about what can go wrong, what can go right. And yeah, it also teaches you a lot of things. First principles thinking, this is one of the things that you'll learn in IIT, right? To deal with problems just from the information you have and not by making any assumptions. So this is one of the things that you'll learn, like any engineering problem, and I actually apply it to a lot of real life problems as well. For example, organizing demo day, just working with the information we have, not assuming that people will show up on time, not assuming people will be late, for example, right? So I have to tailor my presentation and my conversations accordingly. So that, and even systems thinking, how to think in a structured and organized manner, all of these things are things that you learn by default in your engineering or any other program you choose to do at IIT.